We're now going to look at productive skills. And I hope you've got a lot of ideas about how to teach reading or to teach other subjects using language by just looking at the soft skills of or the receptive skills, the soft skills of listening and reading. Now we're looking at the productive skills, and our focus right now is on writing. So you need to understand that there are different types of texts. So we have to deal with them all differently. If we're going to write, what is the format or the layout of the text? If I'm writing an article, should I end it by saying, thank you very much, signed Timmy? That's a letter format. But some students don't know. If you go and do the IELTS exam and you're writing a persuasive essay, and at the end you put thank you and you sign your name, you just failed one part of the test because the format is wrong. So you must teach students about the layout or the format. What is the layout of a letter? What's the layout of an essay? What does a menu look like? What does a diary look like? Using authentic text. That's real life text. Complexity. What is the structure in the writing? Is it complex? Is it simple? What about the lexis? How advanced is the lexis structure? How simple is it? What about the register? Register talks about formality and also about keywords we can associate with a field. So, for example, you have medical jargon. Okay. Then, how correct is the language, the spelling, the grammar, the paragraphs, the use of cohesive devices like and, but, the use of coherence, the way you structure the sentences inside paragraphs and then paragraphs inside the whole text. Are we using appropriate functions? The expressions that are used, are they appropriate? Or are we using the wrong language to describe something else? So if we're writing a story, are we narrating? Okay. If we're writing a report of something that happened and we're asked to write it in 150 words, are we summarizing that into that small text? If we're writing a letter, what is the function of that letter? I'm requesting, maybe, I'm asking my dad to send me some money. So, what is the kind of language that would fit into that? Okay, so using cohesive devices or cohesion, what about the sentences? How do we link the sentences together? Is it smooth the way we spoke? Linking simple sentences together to make complex sentences or clauses or phrases together. Is it smooth? Did we use the correct linkers? You know, and there are different types of cohesive devices, not just conjunctions. You have linkers. You can use as a matter of fact, however, whereas, as, but, and, So, what are you looking at? And whether you are a social studies teacher or you're an English teacher, you should be looking at the layout, the text, the complexity, the register. Sometimes you're looking at the register because you're teaching geography. You're looking at spelling, accuracy, the use of paragraphs. What are the features of the text? What kind of language is being used? If it's a letter, are the features address, salutation, and I can't remember what you do as the sign off, the closing part of the letter. So these are all important for writing. So for writing soft skills, we're looking at accuracy and we're looking at communication, two things. In communication, we're looking at the style. We're interested in the production of language as much as possible. We're interested in quite a lot of things. But let's start with accuracy. Accuracy, grammar, spelling correctly. Are your letters being joined correctly? For example, if the child is in year 1 or year 2, you're looking at the letter formation. Are we joining our letters correctly into written forms that are legible? Can we read what the handwriting is like? Is the punctuation correct? Is the layout correct? Are we choosing the right vocabulary? Is the grammar correct? Are the paragraphs in the correct order? With communication, the style. Is it a formal letter? Is it an informal letter? Or how is the reader of the letter addressed? Dear mom, mommy dearest. So there are different styles. What is the register? Is there any specialized vocabulary that is needed for this text? How are you organizing your ideas? What features that are appropriate to the text are you using so that you can communicate? So if you're writing a letter, is the address important? If it's a formal letter, where's the address supposed to be? Where's the reply address and then the correspondence address? What functions are you using? What are the features of the text? So you see, we need these soft skills, either the focus on grammar, which is mechanics, down to paragraphs, sentences, word level, punctuation. And then for younger students, the handwriting could be important for us. Then communication, we're looking at style, the use of words, the register, how we're arranging our ideas, the features in the text. Do they help us to communicate better? Then we have our stages of writing. So we have the soft skills, which are accuracy or communication, and under them we have anything that falls under grammar, lexis, structure, punctuation is under accuracy. So if we're teaching techniques and we're focusing on accuracy, then the teacher is checking spelling, forming letters, and all that. If we're focusing on communication, we're looking at the creativity of the text and the format. Sorry, not the layout, but the creativity and the arrangement of ideas, the features in the text. But how do we teach writing apart from the mechanics or the soft skills? We can teach writing by teaching our learners first to develop ideas. So how do we do it? All English language teachers teaching composition teach their learners first to think of ideas and quickly write them out. Then after you write them out quickly, or else you discuss and brainstorm and you gather ideas, to write about space, for example. And then you now have to take those ideas and you organize them into paragraphs. So these three will do well in paragraph 1. These three will do well in the middle, and these three I'll talk about at the end. So we brainstorm or we develop ideas, we organize our ideas or plan, then we write a draft. Using those sentences, we now write a draft. Then we edit it. Editing is changing, just making different amendments to the text, rearranging the paragraphs or the sentence. Oh, I should change this. Let me remove this. Proofreading, when you finish editing, you proofread. You look for spellings, you read for grammatical errors, you check anything that could affect the text negatively. Maybe punctuation is not correct, the grammar, the sentences, the spelling. Then finally, when you have proofread it, you've seen your mistakes, you now write a new draft, which is your final copy. So these are stages you need to teach your learners. And this is important because these stages can be used in a test, in an exam, or in an interview. So language is very important in all that we do, and we need to teach this correctly. So please teach the stages of writing.